Freund, hier ist Madi von der von AEV Welt Channel, and this time we're doing something different. And as you see, I'm speaking this time English because I just want to tell you what happened. The guys from Medical School EU on Reddit, that's like a subreddit. If you don't know what Reddit is, then you're just like me. I didn't know what Reddit is. It's like this social network where it's basically like the newspaper of the new time, where you get to read about all whole stuff. And these guys are doing like the most amazing stuff about residency in Germany, and they're like posting so much valuable content, and they're helping so many people who want to get to residency in Germany and want to learn like all the things about that. And they asked me to answer some questions of some interested medical students or doctors who want to do their residency here, and I agreed happily. It's like thank you guys, thanks a lot for asking me, and thanks for everyone who asked me their questions. And I just want to say two things at the beginning before I start start answering the questions. One, I'm really sorry if I make any mistakes and if I don't speak English like very well, because I don't speak English like on daily basis. I speak German the whole time, and my brain is like German, and I think German, I dream German, but I had to answer these questions in English so that many people can learn from it. And the second thing is I'm answering these questions. And I finished my studies 2012, and I've worked as a doctor, and most of the time I worked as a surgical resident for like 8 years. That's a whole lot of time as a doctor, and I'm gonna have some other point of view on things. It's not gonna be maybe it's not gonna be like your point of view. So please, my appeal on you is, do not compare yourself to me. Please don't do that. I've done that, and that's like really wrong. That's messed up. That's gonna mess your mind up. Don't compare yourself to me, don't compare yourself to anyone, and just compare yourself to yourself. Maybe some things that I'm gonna say are not right, I don't know, but that's like my experience, and you gotta hear my experience and the experience of other people, and you're gonna make up your own mind. And yeah, I just wanted to say that, and let's get started. So the first question is a very good question, and I have to say it was not easy. I thought that after this much work as a doctor, and after working like for 3 years in Germany, and at the end of my 3 years in a small hospital, I was really good. I would not be lying or exaggerating if I said I was the best resident there, and I was like the best resident that hospital had seen in years maybe, because I was really dedicated. I got to learn everything that I could have learned. I listened to the best people and really absorbed everything, and I was really at the top. And when I changed to my new hospital, it's like it was a really big center with a lot of people. In my old team we were like 4 people, and in my new team we were like, only in vascular surgery there were 12 people, 12 residents, and in the old department we had 20 patients max, and in the new department we had, in the vascular surgery, 60 patients. That's like, it's like 2 times more. And I thought it's gonna be easy. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of pressure, and the first months they were really hard. And I could take some pressure, like every one of us could take some pressure, like he got through medical school, that's like pressure enough. And but I have to say there was a lot of I had to learn a lot of things. I had to grow, I had to go out of my comfort zone. I had to learn a lot about getting to deal with people that you don't like, how they are. I got to learn to work where you are like, you have to function and you have to give the best, and it's not a family, it's not a really, it's about getting as many patients as possible to go through the system and go out as fast as possible. And yes, so, and then the question was about did you work more or less? It has to do, some people who work in small hospitals do a lot of more work than people who do in big hospitals, and vice versa. It has to do with how many people are there in your team. Do you have enough people? And if you have enough people, then it's not gonna be a problem. Like, everyone's gonna do some of the work, and it's not gonna be that bad. It does not. It has to do with people who are like not there. Like in a big hospital, there are times where you have not as many people. I had that in my current hospital, and in the old hospital, small hospital, I had these times too. And then you have to decide, do you want to stay and work more and do like more night shifts, do more work, stay late every day, or you can go somewhere else where you work like not that much, where you have much more free time for like your hobbies or your family or something like that. And one thing, how hard was getting a job in a big center? Getting the job was not that hard. Getting to know where the job is, that's really hard, yeah, because you don't know which big center needs like people now, and you don't know, that's like the biggest challenge here in Germany. You don't know where are the good people, where are the people who you can learn from. You have no idea, yeah. And it's not every big center is good, yeah. There are some big centers there that are awful. Like, people talk about it and it's like crazy awful. The people go there and they're like, go away, because you don't learn anything. You just have to function, and you don't want that as a resident. You want to learn as much as possible in this time before you get to be responsible like for patients in the time after that. So, I did a whole video about this, and the video is in German, but I think if you got to this level, then you can watch the video here. I'm gonna tell you something about it here. I've read like so many books, but the books that helped me the most are cases, like books with cases for internal medicine, for surgery, and for allgemein medicine, family medicine, because those were what do you call them in English? You do like three things. I'm sorry, I forgot those words in English. You do three things, like you do internal medicine, every test, and you do surgery, and then you do something third. In my case, it was family medicine, and I learned a lot from these books, and those books were really good, I think. But you don't have to do it the way I did it. I did it that way because I didn't have time. I worked at that time and learned at the same time, so I had to do it myself. I would do it differently today if I had the time, or if I had to do it once again. I would really look for a good course where I can learn from other people, or some people learn like from Ambus. That's like platform where you can like, they have organized like everything, and you can learn from them so many good things. I wouldn't do it the same way I did it at that time. I would invest money to save me time, because I read really a lot. I read like so many books I've gone through, and yeah, it was not easy. And about what I learned in Iraq, like what you learn is really good, but for me, after like 3 years after finishing my study, I began with learning like from scratch. But but you don't learn from scratch because you know something. Some things are gonna be like here the whole time. What I learned from my residency in Iraq and my studies in Iraq is to know the most important things and really concentrate on them, like put a lot of more time on the really important things and not as much time on the least important things. And it pays. Like, these things are really important here too. Like, I'm talking about myocardial infarct, or about atrial fibrillation, or about pneumonia, or about pneumothorax. Things that are really important here are also important, and if you worked, you know that, and you're gonna concentrate on it, and you're gonna have like a little feeling what are the important things and what are the less important things. That it helped me in that way. It showed me what are the important things to concentrate on. That's one of a hell of a good question, yeah. I came to Germany as a refugee in 2015, and by the time I got to Germany, I had no money left. I gave all my money on the way here to get to Germany. And in Germany, you get like help from the government if you're a refugee. We got at that time, at the beginning, where we lived in a big camp, we got like 100 euros a month, I think. And then as we got out of the camp, we got 300 euros. And the way I did it, you're allowed to work if you find something, but what are you gonna find? Like, you're gonna do delivery, or like with Lieferando, or work as a waiter or something like that. You're not gonna get any another job, and these jobs, they don't pay like better as if you learned in studies and got to your job and got paid there. You're gonna get paid as a doctor a lot more, and that's why I thought at that time, okay, I'm not gonna spend anything, and that's what I did. I didn't spend anything. Like, we spent our money, my wife and I, we spent our money only on food and learning stuff, like buying learning stuff to learn German and for tests. And we spent no other money, we went nowhere, and yes, for like 1 year we lived like monks. No new clothes, only what we really needed, and that way the money suffices. It was enough. We got through a very good time. People helped us, as we got our first apartment here, we got help from people who gave us like all sorts of things. Like, they gave us a table, they gave us a bed, they gave us some clothes and everything. And I'm really thankful and grateful that people helped us at that time. And yes, after 12 months, I got my first pay, and it really helped, being really not spending a lot of money and concentrating on the important things. And yes, that was the way we did it. So yes, how do we learn German? I'm not gonna lie about it. We got some very good people got us into a course, a German course, a A1 German course at the beginning of time where we came to Germany. As I came to Germany in November 2015, I couldn't speak German. I found like some words, but not a lot. And I saw in this course that it's really slow. It's like it's gonna take me 2 or 3 years to get to the level where I need to. And that's why when I decided I'm gonna learn all by myself, I'm gonna look for the people who did do it, and I'm gonna module them, and that way I did it. I learned, I got the books, and very early in my time in learning the language, I recognized something that's really important. I recognized that I don't have to do all the tests As a doctor, you need only 2 tests. You need only 2 certificates. You need the certificate of the B2 and the C1, the medical tests. And that's why I got very fast through the books of the A1, A2, B1 levels and got to B2 and booked a test. And we learned under big pressure, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think that I'm gonna pass the test, B2 test. After like 6 months of being in Germany, I didn't really believe that I had that level. And I thought to myself, okay, but I need the pressure. I need the pressure of a test so I can learn like more. And I need to get to know the test. If I pass, then it's wonderful. If I don't pass, then I've done trial tests. That's like wonderful. I know what's all about, and I'm gonna know what are the pitfalls and what do I need to learn. That was like my mindset, my idea, and that got me through the tests in a very short time. This pressure and this mindset of accepting failure. Yeah, if I didn't pass, it's really okay. I've learned a lot from it, and I passed. I actually passed from the first trial in both tests, and yes, it was a good time. So, for me, it's like the best question in this video, because I'm gonna be honest to you, that's what I think about the whole time. How is the residency? I'm gonna be honest to you, it's not good. It's not good for being like a skillful surgeon. It's not good. And the residency here, there is no residency program. If you think about the USA, there are no boards. There is no one who is responsible that you get to really be one hell of a good surgeon. No one's responsible. You're the only one who's responsible for yourself. You're the only one who's responsible that you really do the stuff that you need to do. You are the only one who's responsible for being a good surgeon. And in most of the hospitals, it's really about it's more about getting patients done, like operated and done, than about teaching. I don't know any hospital where it's about teaching, not in a university, not. There are people who are about teaching, who want to teach you something, who want to make sure that you learn something, but like the system, the whole system doesn't, there is no time for teaching, there is no control of teaching, there is no control of progress, there are no tests, there is absolutely nothing. Now I know that sounds like it's a chaos out there, and many of us surgical residents here in Germany feel the same way. We feel it's really not nice. And the system here is also, you get to learn a lot of stuff around surgery. You get to learn how you work in the emergency department, how to work in a ward, how to do everything else, but not a lot of surgery. There is a lot, like I get to go to surgery in my very big center where we treat like so many patients, and I have 1 day of surgery a week. And sometimes we operate like 4 patients, sometimes we operate like 3 patients, and you don't get to operate a lot, you don't get to operate enough, and it's definitely not a surgically oriented residency where you go like after 5 years and you can operate everything. I know that from like my friends who just got through residency in Iraq. They operate like 5 years, they operate like hell, they operate like crazy. And here, no, it just moves in the same pace the whole time until you're done with your residency. and then it starts, like your life starts. Then you start to operate, and the residents do then the other jobs, and you start to operate. And yes, and about your concern, I do have the same concern. I don't know if we're gonna be like really good surgeons, because we operate like not that much. I've seen many surgeons that are moderate here. So if you're like outside Germany, you think like medicine here is really awesome. What's surgical capabilities, it's not that awesome. A lot of people are really average. The people that are above average, those are the people who are like chiefs. They get to be chiefs, or they get to be like what do you call it, like the second man after chief. Those are like the most talented people, the people that are above average. The rest is normally average. And the other problem, I think, is the specialists, they don't get to have their own patients normally. Like all patients are patients of the chief, and in most of the hospital, that's like only one person who decides what goes on with the patients, and all the others, they don't decide, and you don't get to be a really independent surgeon. So there are like a lot of concern about the surgical residency in Germany is definitely not one of the best residencies in the world. But you have like a lot of pros here. One of the pros, you get paid good. You have time where you can. I invest a lot of the money I get in courses and learning stuff and buying stuff that helps me to be the great surgeon that I want to be. But I feel really that I need to operate a lot more than I do. It makes me sad sometimes. So I get this question really a lot, and about your question is you're talking about neurosurgery. You can't get neurosurgery. Neurosurgery is no problem. It's definitely no problem. And when you just watched the question before that, not many people want to do a surgical residency in Germany. Not as many as you think, because also one more thing to add to that, as a surgeon, you don't get paid a lot more than physicians and other specialties. And that's why not a lot of people want to be surgeons. Yeah, it's like it means to them stress, it means to them long hours, it means to them needing a lot to master your craft, but not getting like really paid for it. And so you can get it. It's really essential and important that you speak very, very good German. I find it really, really amazing that you have very good medical knowledge. That's like really important, but it's not going to be important in getting you into the jobs. Important is going to be for you like as an IMG, it's going to be very important how you speak German. And I want you to underline that. Not the certificates that you have. It's the way you speak. It's how you speak. It's the words you use. It's if they have the feeling that you're like you speak really good German, that gets you through the most closed doors. You get really through. And then they test you. In Germany, when you get like a new job, you have a test phase of 6 months. They test you, and it's not really about medical knowledge. It's about you being flexible and learning the way they do it. That's like it took me some time to understand it, but it's really essential here that you understand that. It's important here in Germany that you understand that's wherever you are, the way they do it is the right way. There are no discussions, not many people are really about new methods or about discovering new things. No, they think that they have what works, and they want you to do it the way it works. And if you do it the way they want it, then you're very good. If you don't, then you're out in the most of cases. You packed so many good questions in this question. I'm gonna just go through them really slowly. So, what made me a competitive applicant? I would say language, you've said it, and then my communication skills. Yeah, I've learned and I'm still learning every day how to communicate better, how to reach your goals through better communication with people. And that's really important. That helped me a lot in getting through, because, like, for example, I called the first time in this center to ask if there was a job, and they told me yes, and I had to send like an application. I sent an application, got no response, whatever. And then I called the second time, and I just asked about what's happened with the application, and they told me the application did not arrive. And then I sent a new application, and I waited, and there was no answer. And I called like a third time, and by the third time they got my application, and I was like considered. And then they called me like sometimes later and invited me to come to job interview. And the third thing is my experience in Germany. If you have experience in Germany, that's like really important here. Experience outside of Germany, it's okay, but experience in Germany, that means like a hell of a lot here. They find it really important that you've worked here and that you know the system here. And then what are the benefits? What are the challenges? One of the biggest challenges was working with this big team, where it's like the problem in the residency in Germany, or what I think the problem is actually, let me do that, is actually there are no levels. Yeah, you don't know the people that are in the first year, the people in the second year, the people in third year, fourth, fifth year. You have no idea. Yeah, there are people in the second year and they're really bright and they can do everything, and people in fifth year, they have no idea, and so you don't really know where are the good people, like, and who's the competition, and how do I get like along, and from whom can I learn something? That was really, it's not easy. And it's not easy also to, it was a really hard time, like starting in this big center, I have to say. I didn't see it that way at the time, because I was like grinding the whole time and working and giving like 100%. But looking back at it, it cost me like a lot of energy to get through the time, and I had to take a lot of criticism and go through a lot of failures. But you have to stay hard. You have to. It's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and still go along the way. And that's the way it was. Let me take a look what was the last part of the question. What are the benefits and disadvantages? I think benefits of working in a small department are really very important for beginners, yeah, because you have time. You have a lot more time. There are not as much pressure as in big departments, where you have to process a lot more patience. And when one or two people don't show up and you're like a beginner, that's going to destroy you. You're going to have a lot of work and you're going to have a lot of stress. For like people who are like really a long time in the job, they don't care. I don't care anymore if I have 10 patients to process or 1 patient to process, because I know I can only process 1 patient at a time. It doesn't make me stress anymore. But when I look back at the time when I began, I had really big stress when I when I looked like on the list when I worked in the emergency department, and I saw like 6 patients waiting for me. That was a lot of stress for me. Now I don't care anymore, because I know I do what I can, and I treat one patient at a time, and there are always going to be patients, and there are always going to be patients who need you more than the others, and there's always going to be people who are not going to understand that and going to be mad about it, and it's okay. It doesn't bother me anymore, but it bothers beginners a lot. So about the FSP test, I did not take the FSP. I was in Hessen. In Hessen you took the TELC B2C1 medicine, and I've talked like more about the subject, and I did a whole video about it, and I'm gonna link it over here. The video is in German, but also to this question, what books did you use? I organized all the books that I used in different phases of my journey in Germany until this very day, and all of that I organized in my Amazon shop. The link you find in the video notes, and if you go over there, you don't have to buy the books from my Amazon shop. You can like download the books online, or buy used books, or do whatever you want to. It's only about seeing which books are the books that I used, and they're all organized according to the phases of my life in my Amazon shop. So just take a look over there, and maybe you'll find something that's gonna help you. And I've wrote like something to it. And I'll take the next questions. So, to this question about anatomy, I would recommend both ways, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, in vascular surgery, there are books that tells you all about the vascular surgical procedures, and where you work, like in the groin, or where the carotid arteries are in the neck, and how you do that. And I studied that, and that was very good, and that helped me a lot in my work as a surgeon. It gave me a lot of confidence, but I had a problem, and maybe you don't have that problem. Maybe you don't have, I don't know, you're gonna look for yourself. My problem was in the first 2 years in my studies in Iraq, where you learned anatomy. I was myself not the very best student. I was not dedicated, and I was not motivated, and I did not learn really good. And that's why my background on anatomy is really deficient. And yes, and that's why many things are not really very good saved in my head, and that's why I needed to go through like surgical atlases and learn everything from the beginning. And that was good in 2 aspects. One of the aspects is, as a surgical resident, you work there often in the surgical emergency department, where you get... Sorry about that. You work in an emergency surgical department where you get to all cases, and you get like what do you call it, orthopedics, you get like urology, and you get like visceral surgery, like abdomen, and you get vascular surgery. And that helped me because I have like the anatomy of everything, and that helped me in one way. In another way, it helped me to learn things in German, like I used like German atlases, surgical atlases, and that helped me a lot because I learned medicine in English, and here in Germany you can use Latin like words, but the people won't understand you. That's like not the language of the people, so you have to learn that too, and that I had to learn also, and that helped me. So it's a bit of both. You have to learn your surgical specialty, but you have to learn the other things. If you already know everything in the body, then wonderful, you don't need it. If you're like me, then you're gonna need it. and any books to help prepare for the common trunk. That's like the same question. Go to my Amazon shop and you're gonna find the books that I recommend that help me in my way, on my way. Anything written. I think the books that I recommended are really good, and if you follow me, there are not a lot of people, but there are some people emerging right there that help you through your common trunk time, and I'm one of them. If you help me, you're gonna get to know the rest of them too. Like my good friend, I would recommend his channel to you too, DMZ International. My good friend Deepak Mishra, he's an Indian doctor who's been in Germany for 5 or 6 years, and he has a YouTube channel, and he delivers really a lot of content, valuable content for residents from outside of Germany who want to specialize in Germany and in English. He's a very good example you can learn from. I see you are in, and I'll take the next questions. You must do a lot of sonographies every day. I do a lot of sonographies every day. Not everybody does that, but I do, because I believe in the importance of sonography, and you have to. That device is really a miracle. That's a force of nature that you have everywhere. And you gotta learn to use it very good. It helps you a lot. It saves your life and lives of patients. And what do I recommend? I'm gonna recommend a really wonderful thing here. There's this professor in Germany, Professor Matthias Hofer. He's one of the best sonographers ever. And he put the basics on a course online and for free. It's really for free. I'm gonna put the link in the video notes. Check it out. He's amazing, yeah. And just by watching his videos, you're gonna really learn a lot. That was one of my concerns as I started learning here, and because I didn't know any sonography. I've never touched sonography before, and I've learned all of that now, and I can say what's vascular sonography. I'm really good now. I can do it, and I learned all here. There are a lot of courses, and you're gonna learn it here. It takes time. Don't rush yourself, but you're gonna get through it. So let's get to the next question. That's really exciting, and it makes me happy to answer your questions, and it makes me happy to see people who are aspiring to get more, to do more. In a sense, I feel that we are brothers of spirit. I was there where you are, and now I'm past this phase, and I get to help you, and I hope that we get to meet one time where you tell me about your way and your story, and that you also help others to get to where you're gonna get to. Let's take this question. That's the last question. I have to take the Fachsprachprüfung in a month. What's your opinion, most effective way? So that's a very good question to end on. So I learned everything alone, and I didn't know better at that time, and I didn't have a choice. I didn't have money, and I had to learn everything alone. But if I had to do it all alone and I had money, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for the world, because if you have money, then buy time. That's one of the best amazing principles that I learned in my years here. If you have money, use your money to buy time. And by using your money find the right who can teach you, where you pay and they teach you, and then you don't have to go the whole way alone. That helps a lot. And how do you translate that for something that's really helpful for you? Like for the Fachsprachprüfung, there are so many courses out there, and in about every Bundesland, in every state, there are people who are doing courses that teach you everything. My friend who I talked about earlier, Deepak Mishra, he has a course. It's a wonderful course. He puts so much energy in his course. It's you learn so much that these information, it's going to take you a lot. You can't do it alone. It's going to take you a lot of time to learn what he gives you, or what those people give you. I don't know any other people, but I know that there are a lot of people out there. What they give you in like 3, 4, 5, 6 or 8 weeks, it takes you months to learn that on yourself, and you get to know a person who knows other people. You get a network where you get to know other people who are learning. That's really very important. That helps you a lot. Take a look for courses, and don't jump right on. Look for courses with what do you call it? Like on Amazon, when you want to buy something, you read what the people wrote about it. So read what the people wrote about this course. What are they saying? Are there many people who are there? Are they really did they profit from it? And go there, go for a course for like Kenntnisprüfung oder Fachsprachprüfung. Lern von den Leuten. Du wirst sicherlich. Now I'm speaking German without knowing it. You're gonna really profit from it. I think so. That's that's the way I think today. It's definitely not the way I thought 5 years ago, but that's the way I recommend it today, and I've just recommended that to a friend of mine, a mother who just had a baby and had her FSP, and she did a course, invested some money, and it helped her a lot, and she got through the test from the first trial. So I think that's really the idea now. So, wow, that was really wonderful. Thank you guys for your questions and for your patience and for being here. If you guys have any questions, then write them in the comments and I'm gonna answer them. And you can always reach out to me on Instagram. They're like every day. I speak mostly German on Instagram and on YouTube also. That's like my first language now. But if you send me a message in English, I will read it and I will likely answer you. I just want to help you. I want to see you here. I want to see you successful, and I want to see you helping others. And that's like all about keeping the love going, keeping the giving, and making a better world. Thanks a lot for being there, and thanks a lot, guys, from Medical School EU. You're wonderful, guys. What you're doing, it's really amazing. Yeah, thank you a lot, and bye bye. See you here in Germany.